On this one, what we want to do is we want to find the center and the radius of the circle. Then it asks us to graph the circle. Now, the problem is the only way we can graph a circle just by looking at it is if it's in this form right here. Now, if it's not in this form, we can't do anything about it. But what we need to do is we need to get x to be inside a perfect square and y to be inside a perfect square. And if we want these guys to be in perfect square, we should be thinking completing the square. So what we need to do is we need to get the x's together and the y's together. So here's the x together. 10x. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave a space because what I need to do is I need to complete the square here. I need to find that last thing that we need, the third term. And then we have y squared plus 4y. And we're going to leave a space there. And then we're going to say plus 4. And then I'm going to leave two spaces. The reason I'm going to do two spaces is because I'm going to be completing the square here, but I need to undo it here. Complete the square here, I need to undo it here. So we're going to need two spaces to undo both of these guys. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to complete the square here on the x's and complete the square on the y's. So everything inside this parenthesis should be a perfect square, and everything inside these parentheses should be a perfect square. Now the b for my x's is going to be the middle term divided by 2, which is 5. And so bx squared is going to be 25. So I need to add 25. But I can't just add 25, I also need to subtract 25. And I'm going to do it to him because he's the guy that's going to be on the end that's going to end up being our r. Now the b for my y is this middle term divided by 2, which ends up being 2. And then by squared is going to be 4. So I need to add 4 and then subtract 4. So if you factor this out, two things that multiply to 25 that give me 10 is going to be 5 and 5. So this will be x plus 5 and x plus 5, or in other words, x plus 5 squared, plus two things that multiply to 4 that add to 4 is going to be y plus 2, or in other words, y plus 2 quantity squared. This 4 will go away with this 4. So you end up getting negative 25 equals 0. Now, if I add 25 over, you end up getting x plus 5 plus y plus 2. Both of these guys are squared, equals 25. Now, right here looks exactly like this guy right here. So now we know what our h and k are. And we also know what r is. So in other words, we know the center of the circle. And we know the radius. So we can actually graph it now. So we end up getting, if I have this, I know the center is going to be at, remember it's the opposite of this guy, negative 5, negative 2. And then the radius is going to be what squared gives me 25, and so the radius is going to be 5. And so you end up getting the circle right here. Let's make this smaller. So it's going to be a circle at center negative 5, negative 2. Center right here. And my radius is going to be 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'll do that guy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This guy. This guy. And this guy. Now remember, you don't want to go diagonally 5 because then you start making a square. So we're going to have a circle that looks like that right there.